Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi my loves, it's Destin Choice and you're watching Choice TV. For today's video, I wanted to get on here and say that I wanted to have a nice late night drink and tell you guys about something really awful that's been happening in this world lately, especially in westernized countries like America, where there's been a crazy rise in squatters.
The sign on the door says it all: no trespassing. If you try and enter, we will press charges for violation of expectation of privacy. This sign is on the front door of Farzana Rahman's Airbnb dorm rental. She owns it, but says she can't get access to it.
Now they're refusing to leave until there's an eviction order. I think they're just trying to gain time to stay there for free.
Because they haven't paid?
No.
This all started when her most recent guest did make a long-term rental reservation through Airbnb and checked in on October 25th. The guest did pay through Airbnb monthly, and you can see on the reservation details the checkout date was May 24th. When her cleaning lady went to clean the rental,
they answered the door and they said, no, we haven't moved out. She said, should I come tomorrow? And they said, no, don't come back.
Farzana went to the rental, this time, she says, with police. The next morning, still not gone, and this handwritten no trespassing sign on the front door that states, we will vacate the property when you've filed the proper paperwork with the civil magistrate for an eviction, for we are legal residents of this home.
This is my place, and I'm counting on this income. My son is in college, I'm a single parent.
Speaking of the world changing and everything shifting, I wanted to put you guys onto this app called SuperLive. SuperLive is a live streaming app that many people have been using in the past 2 years, where basically you can get paid to go on live. In a world where TikTok is disappearing and a lot of people are running out of options and people are trying to get compensated for their effort on the internet, we have platforms like SuperLive that will literally compensate you and pay you for your time just for going live. Rather it be literally filming a mukbang, filming yourself getting your nails done, filming yourself going down the street, filming yourself at the gym. SuperLive is a creator-friendly app where you can go on there, receive donations, and also get paid for your time. All the information is linked down below, and check out SuperLive and just stream your life and stream yourself if you want to make some extra income and some passive income just to take care of yourself. People are going through it like crazy. Like, people are struggling to put groceries on the table, feed their family, feed their kids. People are getting evicted left and right, have screwed up credit. People are struggling to keep their lights on, keep groceries on the table, put their kids through daycare. And right now, life is just hard for a lot of people. And I can't be shocked. That we just came through a whole freaking global pandemic that pretty much destructed and destroyed the whole entire world. So I get why a lot of people are struggling. But in the midst of this struggle, everybody thinks that protesting against a landlord is probably going to be the most lucrative thing to do. Everywhere you go, you see a lot of people trying to invoke a rental strike, trying to strike against landlords who are raising rent, trying to strike against companies that are raising rent and much more. And let me just say that I think striking against landlords is the most ridiculous thing that could ever happen. Not because of an elitist mindset, but because what you have to understand is not all landlords are backed by major companies. Not all landlords are backed by big-time real estate investors. Some landlords are small families. Some landlords are small immigrant families who use their properties as ways to take care of themselves, put their kids through school, and to take care of their own finances. Some people are struggling as landlords, so striking against landlords doesn't make any sense, because some of us, like me, have private landlords who aren't filthy stinking rich and don't have a shit ton of equity to just, say, oh yeah, whatever, like I can survive off of no rent. Some of them literally rely on your rent. Some of them rely on your rent to pay their taxes and pay their mortgage for the building that you live in and the unit that you live in. But I really wanted to get on here and talk about the rise in squatters. I've been seeing a lot of these videos on TikTok and YouTube and on the internet of a lot of people just simply squatting an apartment just because they think they can.
Landlords beware.
And somebody had the audacity to move into my place, squattering, moved in, TVs, bedroom furniture. And the guys had the audacity to walk back up to ask to get their stuff up out of here.
Oh, girl, you need to leave. Let's go.
Yeah.
She didn't get an eviction, so I really don't have to leave. I'm leaving on my own accord. No. But professionally, legally, this woman should have got an eviction. Let me record y'all too. Okay, I got all kind of cameras. This is not, you're not doing me yourself any justice. My friend will be here in a minute. You can wait for him. You can come on in. Her room's right here. I'm not stopping you.
No, I I looked at that lease. The lease has 4 people's names on it.
Yes, me, my husband, and my children.
I believe your husband has a warrant out for his arrest right now. Is that not the case?
That's nobody's business, and I don't know.
From
All
a
I know is that
2020?
you're violating my rights as American national Moor. I can contact the United Nations and have them say, you know, y'all are violating my privacy.
No, the woman who owns this house told us that you do not. The lady who came, Linda, who came today, she has the keys. You guys changed the locks.
I have the keys to this house. I was given.
You changed the locks over the weekend.
Ma'am.
It's on video.
Please leave me and my family alone. We paid $6,000.
Who did you pay the money to?
To a realtor.
Who's the realtor?
It's on the lease.
I've looked at the lease. The lease is not a legitimate lease.
I've looked at the lease and I signed the lease and I paid.
Who is the person? That person is not a realtor.
You seen the lease?
That is not the owner of the house.
I'm going to end this conversation with you.
So you're basically trespassing.
No, I'm not trespassing. I have a lease and I paid $6,000.
The woman who owns this house says you're trespassing.
I made a police report. The cops say I'm not. They see my lease.
That's not a legitimate lease. Why are you living in a house that you don't have the right to live in?
I do have the right to live here because I have a lease.
From whom? The woman who owns the house. What realtor?
There's plenty of realtors that's renting this house out. Why don't you go look?
Well, I've looked at it. Another lady wants to rent this house and they can't. Why are you living in a house you're not authorized to live in?
I am authorized to live in it. I have a lease. I paid $6,000 to be here.
Who did you pay? Because the woman who owns this house doesn't have it.
The police has the information. And you're harassing me and my family, and I will call the police on you. Thank you.
Genya Markin has been coming to her family's summer home in the ritzy Hamptons since she was a youngster. But this year, she's locked out by her own tenant. This house has been in the family since 1967 and contains precious family heirlooms and memories. Why can you not get into your own house?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Can you give me an answer today?
The state of New York has banned evictions because of the pandemic. The ban is supposed to end August 31st. When's the last time you were inside your house?
On June 20th, when I arrived here with my son, and she refused to open the door.
I live in Los Angeles. Let me just say, Los Angeles is a really great city, but let me just say that the whole city of Los Angeles is doo-doo mixed with shit now. Because right now we have a horrible homeless epidemic. We've always had homeless issue, just like New York. We've always had these issues, but they've gotten gradually worse over time. And because they've gotten gradually worse over time, we see a huge rise in people just blaming the landlords and blaming capitalism and blaming this and blaming that. When in reality, a lot of people are homeless because of 2 things. They're either one, living way above their means, because as a 20-something-year-old, you don't need a luxury penthouse with 2 extra bedrooms. And then a lot of people are also struggling to put food on the table because they have kids, they have a lot of obligations, and things just add up. There's been a lot of squatters lately in big cities like Philadelphia, New York City, and California. And there's something called squatters' rights, right? So let me put you guys on if you guys don't live in America or if a lot of y'all have never dealt with this. Squatters' rights essentially means if you live in a very liberal and progressive state, a lot of states will try to protect people from being homeless. So just so they can limit the people in homeless shelters and people that are on the streets, they'll basically say, hey, if someone is living in your bedroom or in your unit and they've lived there for more than 30 days and they get mail there and they can prove that they've lived there long enough, you cannot kick them out if they piss you off. So if someone does something crazy, like, I don't know, like, you know, spit on your dog or eat the food in your fridge, or they just don't want to pay rent just because they don't want to pay rent, if they've lived there for at least 30 days, you can't technically just throw them out. You have to physically evict them. It doesn't matter if you're not a landlord or not, right? So this could even apply if you saw a friend or some bum on the street who just needed, you know, a second chance in life. So because you gave a bum on the street a second chance in life, or you gave your dumbass homegirl who's always struggling financially a second chance, you let her live in your apartment, you can't necessarily kick her out. And if she doesn't want to leave, she doesn't have to. Because if someone's lived in your apartment for at least 30 days, there's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is go to the courthouse, file some papers, pay a fee, and evict them the normal way. And even if they don't want to leave, you still have to find some way to get the police or the U.S. Marshal to come to you to make them leave. Because even when their 30 days is up, they technically don't have to leave by force unless a police officer makes them leave. So that's what I mean when I say that these squatters' rights are getting a little bit out of control, and seeing these videos of people destroying mansions and destroying Airbnbs is kind of what makes me understand now why a lot of people on Airbnb have to actually verify you before they actually let you in.
These motherfuckers thought they had one, y'all. They tried to squat in our brand new crib that's for sale. Hey, they tried to squat in our brand new fucking crib, bro. These people moved in overnight and said they been living here 30 days trying to squat in our. Look at this. They tore the fucking brand new refrigerator up.
It still got the tape on it.
Crazy. Crazy. They did that because they was trying to say they been here.
Look, I text you. This what time I text you.
Yeah.
This 12 yesterday. So between that time and this morning, y'all really moved in this motherfucker from noon?
These motherfuckers moving our brand new shit, y'all. Look how they just got their shit up in my crib. They done moved in and lied like they been living here for 30 days. They thought they had one. Not born. These motherfuckers got shit, scratching brand new clothes. Rob just spent all this motherfucking money in his crib. And they ass they moved in. Look how they got this shit all up in this motherfucking crib. This crib for sale. They can't even afford this motherfucking house. Look at this shit. These bitches thought they had one. Moved in our brand new motherfucking crib that my man spent all this motherfucking money on. Moved in our shit talking about they had a lease from a Mr. Gray.
People always get upset, oh my God, credit is so stupid, it's so dumb, it's a screwed up system. It's always the motherfuckers who literally have fucked up credit who say that. Because I don't have fucked up credit, and the people who don't have fucked up credit don't say that. The reason why a lot of people get upset at credit scores and credit and people checking credit is because those are the most irresponsible people ever, or people who made poor financial decisions. Let me just say that seeing these videos, seeing these viral videos on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube of all these people abusing landlords and abusing tenant rights tells me why a lot of people always check your credit before they ever let you anywhere near their shit. Because let me tell you something. I made a mistake recently, which I'm, not even brave enough to say it on the internet, because let me just say that sometimes people will take your kindness for weakness. And if you go out of your way to try to help people sometimes, you kind of got to ask yourself, does this person want to be helped, or can people be helped? I essentially took somebody in who was struggling financially and was a little bit stupid and irresponsible. In my head, I was just like, oh, whatever. They're going through hard times. I've known this person for a little bit. I'll just let them sleep in my extra bedroom for a little bit. Why not? It was supposed to be for like 2 months until they got on their feet. 2 months turned to 3 months. Then it turned to 4 months. Then it turned to 5 months. And then eventually me just feeling bad and me having sympathy eventually ran out. And I just told them, you might want to roll up out of here. And the reason I said that was because this individual was literally shooting up needles in my fucking guest bedroom. Yes, this bum was literally shooting up needles in my guest bedroom and was smoking crystal meth in my extra bedroom, to the point where when I was out of town, when I was in Houston, right? I came back home from Houston. I came to my home and I smelled a big odor of meth. So this does not smell like weed. This looks like a pipe that was made out of an air tube with duct tape on it, and it has all this burnt residue. This does not smell like weed. I'm calling the cops.
You're supposed to call them. You can call them. Go call them.
I can call you probation officer and everything.
Go call them. Go call them.
I can do everything. Because if you don't pack your stuff, okay. I told this person, yeah, you gotta roll the fuck up out of here. And then I remember I literally came to my guest bedroom and I saw that they put a lock on my guest bedroom that I let them live in for a little bit, right? It was supposed to be temporary. They put a lock on the guest bedroom. And I immediately was like, fuck that shit. And then I remember I broke that shit and said, fuck that. You got to get the hell up out of here if you're going to go around smoking meth in my shit. And this person literally, as soon as I broke it, I remember, I'll never forget this. This person literally had a camera in my guest bedroom and said, Troyce, what are you doing? And I'm like, wait, what? Where's that coming from? True story. I swear on everything. I walk in. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, up here. You're on camera. I look up and I see a camera in the corner of my fucking ceiling. And he's like, yeah, you can't do that. You're breaking it in there. You can't do that. I'm like, why are there drugs in here? I looked at the camera and said, why are there drugs in here? And he was just like, I know what you're talking about. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And I was like, yes, the fuck I can. Get the fuck out of my apartment. And I unplugged that shit. And immediately they came home hours later, came home, and then they said to me, why would you go in my room? And then I said to them, because you bought substances in here and drugs in here. And they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. I never did that. And I'm like, yes, you did. They were like, you know what, Troyce? You know what I'm starting to realize, Troyce? I'm starting to realize, Troyce, that you probably planted that shit on me. I went crazy and I went berserk, and essentially I demanded this person get out. They ran to that guest bedroom that I loaned them, and then they came out with a whole bunch of mail saying, "No, Troyce, you let me get mail here. Like as you can see, I have mail here, and I have squatters' rights. Like in the state of California, I have squatters' rights. So technically, like I could just do whatever I want." So essentially, my ass went the fuck off because the first thing I said was, "Oh, fuck that. Like, I'm not gonna let somebody bully me in my apartment." You know, as time went on, which is, again, it's a long story, I eventually ended up getting them the fuck out. Now, you're probably wondering how I did that. Did I go to the court? Did I do this? Did I do that? I'm not gonna say it on camera, but just know I got their ass the fuck up out of there, and they just eventually peacefully left. But what I will say is, please never let somebody stay in your home unless you do like a credit check or you know they have a clean record, because it's stuff like that where eventually I did find out that the person I let in did have an extensive record and did have an extensive history of doing this to other people. Like that's what I ended up finding out. This person had all types of crazy ass like criminal records and all types of crazy shit. And this was someone that I knew for a while who I thought, oh, this person's nice, this person's cool. They seem like they're going on hard times. Oh my God, you know, your mom kicked you out, or oh my God, you're going through it. Your roommates, pocketed your rent money. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Come to find out, there's people out there that will literally, prey on your kindness and prey on your generosity and patience, and they will literally abuse it. So never let somebody live in your crib unless you genuinely know them for a long ass time. And honestly, if you ever let somebody live in your crib, do not let them get mail into your apartment, because that's how they can prove, tenant rights. That's how they can prove that they've been living there for long term and consistently. So that's pretty much what happened to me. I made a mistake letting somebody in. So when I see these videos of people abusing squatters' rights, it kind of triggers me a little bit, because it's stuff like this that makes me understand why landlords are so strict with credit, because they're not about to just lend somebody their a bedroom or an apartment or a unit if they know that you're going to give them troubles in the future. If someone knows you're going to give them trouble in the future, there's no way in hell they should ever fucking loan you or give you any type of apartment or give you any type of tenancy at all, because you're just going to be a problem and a liability down the line. It doesn't matter how nice you are. If you have fucked up credit, people are not going to give you a chance. It just is what it is. There is other ways to build your credit if you do want a second chance, such as reporting your rent to the credit bureau. Like that's a common thing that I told a lot of y'all to do. I use Rental Karma. That's a popular thing you can do, or you could use Level Credit. There's a lot of things you can do, such as reporting your utilities, like your water bill and your light bill, to the credit bureaus by using Experian Boost. There's a lot of things you can do, such as getting a secured card at the bank. If you don't know what a secured card is, ask your banker. It's easy as hell. You just put money down, they lock it into a card, and then they report it to all credit bureaus when you make your payments on that money that you put down. So there's a lot of things to do to build your credit. And people who complain about credit and complain about landlords and this, that, the third, and we're homeless and this, there are ways to get around it. Like, for example, if you are struggling to the point where you feel like you may have to claim tenant rights, get a fucking roommate. People be like, oh no, I can't do, get a roommate. Get a roommate. It's really that simple. People will sit up here and complain all they want and be like, oh, well, I don't want a roommate, or, I'm just a single female who can't be living with nobody. Okay, well then bitch, be homeless, or go back living with your damn mom for a little bit until you get back on your feet. It's people like this that make it harder for a lot of us. There's a reason why a lot of landlords are saying straight up that you got to have a 650 or 670 credit score. Or there's a reason why when you try to apply for units, they're like, you must make 2 to 3 times the rent. The reason why it's like that is because there are people that abuse the system. So don't get mad at landlords. Get mad at these people that abuse the system and try to mistreat and abuse others, and straight up be like, oh, well, I'm not going anywhere, or I have squatters' rights. Blame those people. There's a reason why these landlords have these high quotas that they want y'all to meet, because of evil, disgusting, pathetic people like that. You know what I mean? So let me just say, learn from my mistake and look at these people who are squatting and making a fool of themselves. It's not worth it, because what happens when you get kicked out, because eventually squatters do get kicked out. When they get kicked out, guess what happens? You get an eviction put on your credit report, which then makes it more difficult for you to get an apartment. So when you have an eviction on your credit report, don't be upset when you look at when you look at apartments and they tell you straight up, oh, you can't have any evictions. It's people like that ruin it. So when I see how fucked up this world is, and when I see struggles and trials and tribulations and renter strikes and y'all this, y'all that, some people don't have enough empathy to understand that some of these landlords are struggling their damn selves. A lot of us who are in westernized countries are voting for a lot of these politicians who are raising taxes on them. Raising taxes on them, and then they have to raise their rent. People will always sit up here and say, tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. Y'all don't understand that when you tax the rich, they tax us next. And people will be like, oh no, it's corporate greed. They're just greedy. Bitch, some of them have like 10, 15 different family members who they have to take care of overseas, and a lot of them have relatives that they have to fund and take care of and put through school. So it's not always corporate greed. Some people just have a lot of expenses and a lot of people to take care of. You know what I mean? So when you see people say things like corporate greed, when I see these things like, oh, they're just greed, they're just this, these landlords have to pay these horrible taxes because of the shit that a lot of us vote for. You know, we vote for like, oh, we want this, we want that, we want rent control, we want this. Why do a lot of y'all want rent control and you live in a luxury penthouse in downtown? Why do you want rent control if a lot of y'all literally live in, you know, the suburbs with a beautiful ass dog park and a beautiful ass Starbucks right across the street? Why would they give you rent control? You live in an area with all these fancy, cool ass amenities, and they have to keep up with the taxes and the amenities. You live in an area where there's a good public school for your kids and a good charter school for your kids. And guess what? These charter schools and public schools are usually funded by tax dollars. They're funded by the people who live in these communities and have to pay taxes every single year on their properties and their units and their buildings. And these landlords are also, you know, getting dragged into it as well. They have to pay for that. They have to pay for these schools and these, you know, new developments to come into these communities, which attracts more customers and which also keeps you sticking around and feeling safe. So as time goes on, I kind of got to understand that not everybody took economics in school. Not everybody understands economics. And I want to just sit up here and say that these squatters are getting horrible and horrendous. And my advice for anyone watching this, straight up, don't let motherfuckers live with you for more than 30 days. Always give them a deadline. Unless you know them hardcore and they got a good record and you know they got a good foundation and a good amount of income and they're hustling and they work hard and that they're a good moral person, do not let somebody live with you, because people will exploit you, they will abuse you, they will use you. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard from relatives and friends and people that I know personally that let motherfuckers live with them, and then it ended up flipping out and backfiring on them. And the person said, I'm not going nowhere because I have squatters' rights and I can do this. It's evil and fucked up. So people are destroying mansions. People are destroying Airbnbs. And guess what? A lot of Airbnbs can't get a lot of these people out of their apartments because these people are, you know, getting mail delivered there. These people are trying to get all settled in, and they're doing it intentionally because they want to make sure that they're secured regardless. So please learn from these people's mistakes, and please learn to just get your credit up and to just pay your bills and live within your means. Some people were doing so amazing. A lot of us were doing so amazing in the year 2017, 18, 19. But then when 2020 came, we were doing bad, but then things got a little bit better. And then when 2022 came, things were better. And now we're in 2024. And I can tell you so many people that I know personally and people that I've heard of that are doing awful. Not just people in my personal life, but also a lot of entertainers. A lot of people are doing bad. Big name entertainers are selling their mansions, their properties, their this, their that. It's all a bad situation overall. Like, everyone is struggling in some way, whether it be financially or trying to maintain those they take care of. Like, everybody has their struggles. So when I see stuff like this and people don't give sympathy to landlords and they think that the bill collectors are at fault, it makes me kind of like look at these people and make them realize, it makes me kind of like realize some of y'all need to wake up and look around and realize that all of us are being fucked over. It's not always corporate greed. Sometimes it's the IRS. Sometimes it's the taxes we pay. And sometimes it's the very same politicians that we vote for who keep telling us that they're going to give us rental control and that they're going to give us all types of, rent control or tax the rich and this, that, and the third. It's the same people that y'all voting for who are literally keeping y'all in an ongoing cycle, who keep y'all in an ongoing cycle where jobs are fucked up. There's no stable jobs. A lot of these jobs don't want to pay. And we can't just turn around and just blame each other. It's just a divide and conquer tactic. It's just a way for us to be divided amongst each other. This is the oldest trick in the book. Divide the rich with the poor instead of actually trying to look at the people who really call the shots. Like the people who are, controlling the taxes, like the governor and the government and the IRS and so much more. Life is going to get crazy, and I think 2025 is going to get a lot worse. So in the meantime, if anyone's watching this, what I want you to gain from this video is, please, for the love of God, try to save. Even if it's $3 a week, $3 a month out of your paycheck, even if it's $50 or $100, try to save. If you can, leverage your passport and get the fuck out of America and try to get a work visa somewhere else that you can actually afford. Maybe consider trying to open up a retirement account so that way you can allocate a little bit of funds into it. And also, maybe consider trying to pay off all your debt if possible. And if you can't pay off all your debt, try your best to just live a minimalist lifestyle. You know, there's other things you can do as far as like buying cheap cleaning products like baking soda to clean your counters and your floors. Maybe not go for that weekly Starbucks every week. And maybe try to go as far as, you know, not trying to get that fancy ass Mercedes or BMW that you're trying to drive around to impress people, when in reality, you don't really need that fancy ass car. You need something that takes you from point A to point B if it's sucking the life out of you. You know, I'll be real, like, sometimes it really shocks me when I hear about people's car notes. Like, some people are paying like $1,500 car notes, and people are still living above their means. So a lot of times I do think people are struggling because life is hard, but some people really do live above their means and do too much. You know what I mean? Like, I could use myself for example. You know, for a while I did do a little bit too much of living above my means, and then I realized, you know what, I'm doing a little bit too much. I live in a simple ass, basic ass fucking apartment in Los Angeles. My rent is about $2,000 a month, but I'm able to, you know, pay it, you know, because I work hard. You know, it sucks that it's that expensive, but I pay a pretty good price for a 2-bedroom that's all to myself. It's only $2,200 a month, which is expensive as fuck for a lot of y'all who don't live in California, but it's a good deal for anyone that lives in the city of LA. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-story apartment, and it's spacious, and it's in a great central area where I could walk everywhere. So what I did is, instead of just like dwelling and getting upset at my rent and, you know, buying more expensive things and this, that, and third, I don't have a car. I could try to get a car if I wanted to. I could approve for a really nice fancy car, but I don't have a car. I'll take the bus. I'll take the train. Some of y'all have recognized me and spotted me on the train and be like, oh shit, yeah, I've been to the train stations before and I don't give a fuck. If I want to take a quick little trip to Vegas or a quick little trip over to a different state, instead of paying for an expensive ass flight, I'll take a Greyhound. I'll fucking take a NyQuil or just pass out and go to sleep and then just sit on the fucking Greyhound and just have the bus take me from point A to point B. You know, I don't really give a fuck. I don't think I'm too good for anything. So try to see if you can find the cheaper option for anything instead of just being like, oh yeah, I want this, I pay for convenience, I pay for... Don't do all that. You know what I mean? Instead of taking Ubers everywhere, I just take the train or I'll take the bus, or sometimes I'll just walk. Like a nice 1-hour walk, 2-hour walk won't hurt. It's good cardio, I get a good exercise, and I get to get some fresh air, and I get to clear my mind and listen to a podcast. So I hope this can resonate with a lot of y'all watching this and understand to be careful out here, because there's some people that will plot and prey on you and will literally use the fact that you're kind and open and generous and will squat in your apartment, even if you just give them a bedroom or let them sleep on your couch. Y'all better wisen up. Live within your means. And if you have to move, then move. If you have to apply to a job in a different city that's like 6 hours away, 10 hours away, or a whole 24 hours away, then just go there. Maybe you can live with somebody else. Maybe you can start a new life where it's cheaper cost of living and you can get decent pay, but do what you have to do, because some of y'all will complain at the fact that you can't keep your $2,500 a month apartment and live luxury in New York City. It's just life. Everybody has to move around. Did your ancestors stay in the same space forever? Probably not. You have to move around. You have to adapt to your environment. There's just no use in complaining and getting upset that you have to move here, move there, and start fresh here, start fresh there. If you're struggling and don't have the money like that, baby, there's nothing you can do. You just got to adapt and go somewhere else. But that's that for this video. People just like, comment, subscribe. Give me your thoughts and opinions down below. And yeah, that's that. And y'all be safe out here. Choice out this bitch. You will always be. I say, fire to the rain. Watch it burn. I right away. In this turn. And I say, fire to the rain. Watch it burn. I set fire to the rain.